blood that they sacrificed for the people of Gaza, to deliver to them humanitarian aid that 1.5 million people desperately need. I have no words to say to Israel, because we've said all the words that we need to say. The only words that I have to say is to you. The people upstairs in this building know that they're wrong, know that they're criminals, know that they're violent beasts. But the question remains. They just challenged us one more time. They challenged us. They challenged us in 2006 when they killed 1,100 Lebanese civilians. They challenged us in 2009 when they killed 1,400 residents. And they challenged us 2 days ago when they killed dozens of activists trying to deliver food. They keep challenging you. They keep saying, what are you going to do about it? And the question is, what are we going to do about it? We need to demand justice. We need to demand an end to the occupation on Gaza, an end to the occupation in the West Bank, an end to the apartheid wall, an end to any discrimination. It's unacceptable. And I'm here just to remind you how we can do that. When we leave here today, after we've yelled and we've made sure that we shook this building with our screams, we need to implement it into every single thing we do every day. What we buy, we need to make sure that not a single penny, that not a single ounce goes to the occupation, supports the occupation. Where we go, where we buy our books, what we eat, what we show our children, none of it can go to Israel. We have to demand that they stop. We have to demand that they stop. Let it be known, let the history books show, so that when our children's open up the history books, they see that we gathered here today, June 1st in Chicago, in front of the Israeli consulate. And this is where we shook the world. This is where we changed. This is where the movement began. This is where we freed Palestine.
Yeah!
And I just want to add one more thing. Even though the people of Gaza are starving, even though the people in Gaza are in desperate need of those wheelchairs, those construction materials, that food, the medicine that was on that ship, they will survive. They will survive, that is for certain. There is nothing you can do to deter the will of that people. But all that I ask of us here today is that we never forget them. Because I used to think that the leaders and officials of this country didn't know. I used to think that they were not aware of what was happening in Palestine. I now know better. They know every single detail.
Yeah.
But until we shout in their faces, until we hold them hostage and let them know that we will not move until they stop and free Palestine and award the rights to the Palestinian civilians, then nothing will change. Nothing will change. So it begins here. It begins here, and it begins here, and it begins with you. It begins with all of us. So I just want to conclude by saying one last thing to all of you. That Gaza and Palestine and the West Bank and anybody that's being occupied or under oppression, they will always resist because they have the truth on their side. They will never, ever surrender. The question is, will we? And I think we're showing here today that we won't. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace. No justice.
Round of applause for Thaher Ahmed. Thank you, Thaher. Just a piece of good news in the midst of all of this bad news that we're hearing in the past.